Content warning. The following show contains smoking, potty mouth language, discussions of fictitious violence, and some subject matter that will make a lot of people feel attacked. But I promise, we're not attacking anyone. And sometimes, you're just being seen. Either way, viewer discretion is advised. You know, it's actually kind of good to have you back. You know, it's been a week, right? All right, yeah. Well, start the music. All right, yeah, we'll start the music if you want. Hey everybody, what is going on? Oh my god. I am Solar Gray, the cinematic sorcerer, and welcome to the dark side of the room. This is the show where we talk about a great many things, and oh my god, do we have a bunch of stuff to talk about today. Saying what's going on to my people over there watching on the YouTubes. All right, like, you know, yeah, big questions about Werewolf Part 3. I think it's 5. I don't know. I don't know. Part 5. Yeah, Werewolf 5. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about today because, oh my God, so many things. Thank you all for being here. You know, I take a little bit of time off, and sure enough, the world falls apart while I'm gone. And but that's okay. That's okay because we're here, we are back, we're doing all of that stuff. But what I will say is this. If y'all got questions or stop it. If y'all got questions or comments or anything like that, well, there are a couple of ways. One, you can leave a comment here, but I am asking you guys not to bully the chat because, you know, a lot of people come in, they see one person doing a whole bunch of stuff, and they're like, oh, well, there's no room in the conversation for me, so let's be considerate of everybody that's around. And if y'all really want to talk about some stuff, all right, really want to talk about some stuff, we can talk about some stuff, especially if y'all don't like what I got to say. I get it. You know why? Because everybody's got their own thing, and I'm with it. So, all you gotta do is open up your email and type in back in the deck at gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK at gmail.com. You can also hit me up over on Twitter and Instagram at Back in the Deck. You can also hit me up on a few other things. Like TikTok. What? Yeah, that's right. I've got a TikTok and all of that jazz. And of course, if you're part of that wretched hive of scum and villainy known as Facebook, then all you got to do is hop on to Facebook and join Deckers on the Book. That is the show where, that's our open Facebook group. So yeah, hop on there and do all of that stuff. So now that we are here, my God, we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. Oh my God, we have so much, just so much stuff to talk about today. I've been gone for a week. Had a bit of a family tragedy. Yeah, I know there's a lot. I tend to have those a lot, but with all that, you know, I've had to do some family type things with lawyers and morticians and you know, just coming to terms with a lot of that stuff. But that's okay because we're here And we're back. And yeah. So while I was gone, a whole lot of stuff happened. A whole lot of stuff happened. But really, a lot of stuff happened today. All right. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So I want to get into it. Um, so I'm here today and I'm like, dude, I'm looking at stuff. Hang on. I want to let you guys know that this is probably gonna be a long show. Um, because there's so much to talk about, and there's so many layers and so many discussions to have in all of that stuff. So, first thing I want to talk about, because there's so many things. I look up today as I'm going over the show notes for today and getting on the phone with one of my lawyers, and um, and sure enough, I see that a lot of my friends are quitting Zoom. And this is big. This has actual serious impact on the channel because when I have, remote guests in, Zoom is my platform of choice. Primarily because, they let a lot of things go through. I've never been an Apple customer, so FaceTime and things like that have never really been in my wheelhouse. And it looks like, oh man, I went through all that stuff for show preparation, and my stir stick has disappeared. Oh no, there it is. Um, yeah, so I've never been a FaceTime person, and there's a lot of stuff like so many platforms that use visual mediums, but not a lot work well with my streaming software. So I got to figure out what is going on. But there is the strike, there is Zoom, there's a whole bunch of different stuff. But some of the hubbub that I received today, right here, um, which is right here, Zoom revises terms of service so it can train AI on user data. Um, I'm just sitting up here and I'm just kind of going, what? So I read through about 15 different articles after my meeting today, and there's so many different things. And Zoom is like, oh, yeah, no, we want to train our AI to enhance customer experience, whatever that means. Um, but talk about terrible timing, because part of what the SAG AFTRA strike is about is using scanned images of extras and background actors in perpetuity with no compensation. Okay. And what happens down here? Well, Zoom just released an announcement on their updated terms of service. We've got um yeah, in their section 10.2 and 10.4 of their user agreement, which um is service generated data. Let me see here. A detailed and a perusal of the newly updated two sections, 10.2 and 10.4, stand out for their broad ranging implications on how Zoom is permitted to utilize user data. These sections establish Zoom's right to compile and utilize service-generated data, which is any telemetry data, product usage data, diagnostic data, and similar content data that Zoom collects in connection with users' use of their terms of service software. Okay. Um, Now let's see here. Zoom's updated policy. This exempts Zoom's right to modify, distribute, process, share, maintain, and store such data for any purpose to the extent in the manner that it is permissible under law. Um, this is rough. Okay, this is really rough. What was it? Let's see. Over here on the site formerly known as Twitter, um Yeah, we've got the Stack Dairy account. We've got Gabriella Coleman, I believe it was. Um, yeah, and essentially the Zoom article states that they're they're saying that you give permission to train their AI right back with no opt out option. Okay, so yeah. Now I'm not on that. I'm not on that tool. I'm not on that bandwagon of no AI is gonna kill us in the future. No, I'm not that guy. Okay. Um. However, I am aware. I am fully aware of how massive corporations, um, how massive corporations don't really dig, um, don't really dig on being, um, transparent in what they talk about. All right. They use terms like user experience and things like that. And I'm just kind of like, guys, seriously, there's literally a nationwide strike of actors fighting against images of actors and people being used in perpetuity. Now, we already live in a society of data mining. All right. I mean, I'm gonna just be upfront with you guys. All right. Facebook, like all social media stuff like that, they mine your data. That's what they do. They're like, hey, this person looked at this. This person looked at that. That is why things like, um, um, that is why every time there's a free social media service out there and your computer slows down, your data's being mined and it's being sold. Um, Now, this has been going on for at least a decade, and some companies are saying, are saying, well, we put in an opt out thing, and let's be real, guys. Let's be seriously real. When companies say we put in an opt out thing or people can vote with their dollars and stuff, that does not ring true. Okay, it really, really doesn't. I wish that it did. I truly, truly, with all my heart, wish that these things did ring true, that they were honest, but they're not. Okay, yeah, you get an opt out thing and they make it impossible to find on the website. And then it's like, I want out. Are you sure? Yes. Are you really sure? Click. Yes. Are you really, really, really sure? Click. Yes. I want out. Don't sell my data. Oh, well, we're going to hold on to your data for a little while if you change your, if you just want to change your mind. And I'm like, dude, you know, um, and the thing is, I am personally kind of upset with Zoom over this for not adding the opt out option. But the way that I see it, and this is the hood part of me, is companies do this stuff all the time, and there's way too many people that use all these services so much that there's not going to be a boycott of it, and they are going to do whatever they want. I hate it. I seriously, seriously hate it. But like I try and get on with like national boycotts and things like that. But there are too many people that don't want to give up their convenience for most of these things to work, you know? Um and it's a tough one because yeah, there are services out there where you can go buy data packs for 10, 11, anywhere from like $15 to $200, and you can buy all this documentation on lots and lots of people. And there's a secondary market of companies that you pay, and they go scrub your data from all these things. I don't know. Um, I really don't know. Um, how to get past this whole thing. I'm in a messed up situation because, like I said, when it comes to doing green screen, sharing, and not slowing down my OBS, Zoom is the only one that uses few enough resources, at least the only one that I know about, that uses few small amounts of resources to actually allow me to have guests on the shows and not drop frames and have everything going because, again, it's just a weird time. It really is. So I'm kind of stuck. I really am because, as you guys know, I tend to have co hosts on the show via Zoom because a lot of people don't have transportation or to get down here to the studio. Partly because some of them just don't have cars. Others of them live on the other side of the country. Y'all know I do shows with Nerd Soul, and we use Zoom. So are we going to have to use Facebook now? But if we use Facebook, how can we be mad at Zoom selling our data when they've been doing it all the time? You know, Facebook has been selling our data for years, and now Zoom is doing it. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm thinking about Skype. I haven't tried using Skype for a long time because they didn't work very well on Windows. Like I said, Neon, I've tried using Discord, and Discord with my OBS just makes stuff real terrible. I mean, really, it does. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I'm not sure. I don't want to focus too much time on the show on this particular subject because, again, this is new. It's up in the air. There are lots of different social media sites to use and a lot of person-to-person video stuff. But real talk, okay, real talk. How do the consumers find out whether or not the other companies are doing this same thing? How can we guarantee? I don't know. I really, really don't know when it comes to all that stuff. So it's going to take a little bit. It's going to take a lot, you know. Right now, even the chat is all lit up with Spark is good, Skype is good, blah, blah, blah. There's other technical stuff that goes on from this side, guys. But where this puts me is if some people don't want to use Zoom, I can't have them on the show as long as I'm not using Zoom. So, yeah, there's a lot of there's a whole lot of weird stuff that goes along. I know my mentor uses Skype for his Monday night show, but my mentor also has a lot of Apple products, and that stuff costs way more than back in the deck's budget. We'll get to that relatively soon because I have some more channel updates because of the whole financial thing. Scrying the guests on the crystal balls will be like, I can do that one-on-one, but magic plus technology, they don't tend to mix, you know. So yeah, so that's something to think about. Now, along with that other stuff, I want to get on to the game stuff that we talk about today. Because real talk, there is a lot of stuff out there, and you guys have come here to talk about games, game theory, and all that other stuff. And there is something that came about last week that I thought about. As you guys know, I'm still in the new player journey and learning Warhammer 40K. All right. And it's been interesting. It has been very, very, very interesting. And the number one thing that I've tended to come about, well, hang on, let me start over. Hey, there we go. As a lot of you guys know, I have been really, really studying Warhammer 40K 10th edition. Okay, I've been on this new player journey, and it's been a very difficult thing. It's been a very difficult thing because where I'm at, okay, my geographic location for Warhammer 40K, there are a lot of veteran players, but there's even more salty players. All right, that's a whole lot of salty players. All right, and what do I mean by salty players? I found that they come in 3 or 4 different flavors. Okay, flavor number 1, they were burned at 40K at 5th edition, and if they talk about the stuff at all, they will only speak poorly about everything they hate, even if the stuff that their words are conveying have been fixed in later on editions. And I want to get to that. Okay? It's not just about what words they're saying, but it's what's behind the words. Because out here in Southern California, I don't know if it's like this for the rest of the country, but people don't speak directly. Okay? So they'll be yelling and screaming about something concerning a previous game, and it turns out they'll be talking about a game group or a specific person in a game group, and they'll feel burned. But cranky player number two, and this is the one that I fall into. The ones that want to like things but are so screwed over by the business practices of the companies that put them out that they really can't they can't really get a foothold into experiencing these things. I know I was salty with Games Workshop forever because it costed so much money just to even find out whether or not I would like the game. I'd have to buy $200 to $600 worth of miniatures. I would have to build them and paint them and base them and possibly customize them. And then if I played the game and didn't like it, what was I going to do with all those figures? Don't say eBay, because you don't get your time and your energy back. Okay? That's real. So yeah, that's a really, really, really big thing. And as you guys know, they came out with Combat Patrol, and I have a bunch of miniatures that I get because I have so many 3D printers, and I'm part of One Page Rules. Check the video archive to watch me guss about them, but I'm going to stay on topic. All right? One of the things that I have seen and noticed a lot, okay? And this is with Salty Player number 3, the ones who are still playing back at 9th edition or the last edition of Magic the Gathering. Let's call them veteran players. And that is what I want to talk about today. Not veteran players suck. No. Don't get me wrong. That's a good clickbait thumbnail. But no. What I want to talk about today is a behavior that I see in a lot of players. Okay? I don't care what game you're talking about. D&D, Warhammer 40K, Dead Zone, Warpath. Don't care. All right? But a lot of people make a certain type of behavior standard. And that behavior is reading a rule and coming up with a million reasons why that rule sucks, it's not fun, it's broken, before they even play. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Do not put their names in the chat. All right? But yeah, like rules and building characters and stuff like that, I seriously have noticed, and I see this with every new edition of every game I've ever played. Okay, let's set the Wayback Machine to the year 2000. When Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition came out and they introduced feats, okay? Players of 2nd edition were like, grumble, 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 old man yells at clouds, blah, 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 blah. Why they take away my Thaco, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, have you guys played with it? Okay? And they're like, I don't have to play with it, blah, 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 blah. And this is a big thing, all right? If you guys are new players to anything, this is part of my new player journey that falls with, okay, Daryl, fourth was a game. Yeah. But as I was saying, when I learned to play a game, okay, and that's real talk. When I learned to play any game, the number one thing I try and do is I try and learn every game as it's written, okay? And I'll tell you guys why. When I was a kid, we played games every once in a while. All right. I just watched a movie that I'm not promoting because of the strike, but in this movie, they played spades because it was a movie made made for and by black people, and they played lots and lots of spades. All right, and one of the characters didn't know how to play spades, but everyone in the room came up with an excuse to not teach him while they were making fun of him for not already knowing. Okay? I cannot stand that kind of behavior. I really can't. Um, so I don't get down with that, but that's a lot of behavior that I see in a lot of places. Okay? And then when new editions come out or new rules come out, those very people are like, I don't want to do all that. I don't want to learn anything beyond what I already know. And when I was a kid, Shadow Paradox just nailed it. When it came to spades, bid whist, and Monopoly, there were a lot of house rules that I was taught. Okay, if you were from the United States and born in the 70s, or the 80s, or the 90s, or the early 2000s, then chances are you're not playing Monopoly as written. You're playing as taught by the people that play with you, which is why the games last so long. A lot of people, right? Seriously, you know what? Go to the cookout and tell them that you don't know. All right, just see what happens. Gamer Nefas, just be like, now I don't know how to play bid whist or dominoes or craps or rolling bones. Just tell them and see what happens. But as I was saying, the rules as written to a lot of games, people tend not to look at because I already play this game, or I learned how to play this game from my dad, or I learned how to play this game from whoever. And when I learn how to play a new game, I try and learn rules as written, because if a game was published, 9 chances out of 10 it had some game testing. Now, that doesn't mean all the rules will be smooth. It does not mean that the rules are perfect. A lot of the times, a lot of the times, games in and of themselves, when you play them as written, they can be clunky or confusing. Okay. However, I'm getting to that, Shadow. Shadow Paradox posted, yeah, the rule of fun. Gonna get there. All right. But one of the things that I've learned over my time as a gamer is to check out the rules. Actually play the game as it was written. And a lot of people, and I'm not calling anybody out by name, but a lot of people read the rules as written. They have an interpretation. They play the game. They say the rule is stupid, and they never play it that way again. And I'm like, hold up. Are you sure you're interpreting it properly? Like, was there an FAQ? What was up with that? And a lot of people, once they hit that, they dig into either wanting to be right, or they dig into this idea that they know what they want when they want to play a game as written by someone else, and they try and rewrite it. And I had that experience with a friend of mine week before last. And I'm like, yeah, so here's the thing. I'm just learning this game, so I don't want to change up any of the rules until I understand how the rules work. Okay? Let's have a little background. All right, just a little bit of background. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and I was tested as gifted / genius. Okay? I was really good at deciphering things and figuring out stuff. However, there were places that I was not good at. But when you tell a little kid that they know a whole bunch of stuff, then they get a little cocky, And the first thing they always want to do is redesign. Now, when I got older, okay, and I'm talking in my mid 30s, I found out that the generation that followed me was taught a bunch of incomplete lessons, such as, if you want to be a real responsible adult, this is the stuff you got to do. You got to climb that ladder and you got to do it quickly. Like Christopher Titus said it best in Rockwell is Bleeding, where he's like, "Hey, Dad, I got a job." Real man would be the manager. They were always pushed further and further. And this has created a culture of impact. All right. What do I mean, impact? We got a bunch of people in the workforce that are taught to believe by the people that raise them and by their bosses that they have to make a positive and legendary impact on whatever they're doing within the first 3 months. Like, if you don't increase our stock dividend in your probationary period where you're supposed to be learning this job, we don't have a use for you. So there's this pressure of excellence. And when it comes to our games and our hobbies, we tend to approach those things with that pressure of excellence and pressure of innovation before we know what the crap we're doing. Okay? And this is one of the things that I've been looking at. I hit some forums. I ghost a lot of forums. I watch a lot of videos. And what I see are a bunch of really cranky people talking about new game mechanics and how it's busted, or they feel punished, or they feel left out, and stuff like that. And I believe that Warhammer 40k 10th edition has been out for a month. 1 month. Okay? Maybe a month and a week. By the way, what's up, Chat Attack? Thank you so much, Nick, for showing up, man. This is big. So it's been a month and people have been pouring over the rules, and I'm like, I've seen one channel that has an opinion that actually took the time to play every single army, all 21 of the armies that were in 40k, check out the rules, and they had the opinions of, I didn't like this rule going in, it was written poorly, it didn't look well on the paper, but playing the game and utilizing the rule means so much. It is so different, okay? And this is where I always want to approach new things with a piece of humility. I don't know everything. So when I go into stuff, I used to just take other players' words for it, and I'm like, nah, because where I am, and I don't know if this is a nationwide or a global thing, but where I am, people tend to interpret rules in ways that will help them win. Did they buy all 21 armies as well? Yes, but they're a Warhammer-based website and YouTube channel with a very successful Patreon, lots of battle reports, and a lot of fundings. Like, their super chats pretty much make them thousands and thousands every time they do live stream. So these are some of the big boys. So yeah, hopefully, if y'all keep sharing and helping me build my followers and stuff like that, I'll be able to get super chats and all that stuff when I do stuff on YouTube. But right now I've got 2 current viewers on YouTube at the moment. So yeah, I'm going to hate editing this. So as I was saying, but one of the things they brought up was the new rule for Chaos, which is Dark Pact, which is seemingly a clunky mechanic, but in play, it becomes more intuitive. I think a lot of those guys need better copywriters, to tell you the truth. And they were saying, when I first read it, it looked dumb, but then when I played it, it made sense. And that's one of the things I'm looking at. As you guys know, I'm doing the whole combat patrol thing. And I'm up to 14, soon 15 of the 21 combat patrols that are available. Hopefully, I'll be able to get some time to play when my life stops catching on fire. But but as it goes, um, instead of criticizing what they have for sale, I'm looking to try it. Okay, and I'm not gonna lie, there are a lot of mechanics about it that I don't quite hop on. I don't like the I go you go system where you do everything you're gonna do with your army, and then um, the person on the other side does whatever they do with what's left, and so on and so on. I played that way for years with Hero Clicks and War Machine. I've learned other activation methods over like the past, God, 5 years that I like better. And I really mean that. I do. I think my favorite one comes from the DC Universe game, where every leader, like the leaders of the factions, have um they either do or don't have a tactical or super genius thing, but you essentially put a little colored bead in a bag. Um and I think it's either a static number like 5 or one bead for every unit that you have. And at the beginning of each round, you blind pull a bead, and that's the team that goes first. And and once that bead's been pulled, it doesn't go back in the bag. So as time goes on, everybody gets their thing, but But here's the thing: no gaming mechanic is perfect, and I think that that's a big thing. I think that that's a very big thing. When people read rules and criticize them before playing, I get this idea that they're looking for the perfect system. Like I'm looking at them, and all I can see is Oingo Boingo going through their head. I'm in love with you. I know. Yeah, that was a dated reference anyway. But what I want to do, what I tend to do, is read the gaming mechanics and play the gaming mechanics as they go. Now, got Shadow Paradox saying, I see a lot of DM and GMs, mostly new ones. They'll read online reviews of rules or advice to add to rules because they say it's broken and hard to balance out. Trying it out. Yeah. And see, that's a big thing. Now, with tabletop role playing, that is huge. Okay? I know so many DMs and GMs that cut certain rules, add certain rules. Everybody has their little spice. Okay? But it makes me flash back to junior high. And when I was in junior high, I wanted to do a lot of that stuff when I was trying to study art, and I was informed that I'm pretty sure that I don't have the neural pathways capable of learning how to draw. So, but I do like Impressionism and Cubism and Dadaism. And my counselor said you have to know the rules before you can break the rules. And I'm like, yeah, tell that to all of my teachers who get on my butt for me breaking rules I didn't know about. But what it turns out he meant was, if you want to go against the grain, if you want to subvert narratives, if you want to smooth out gameplay, the number one thing you have to do is learn where the wrinkles are. All right? And that comes down to learning the rules as written, and running the rules as written. I'm not going to lie. I love Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. I really do. Does anyone play base Shadowrun? Asks Daryl. I don't know. I really don't know. But I love D&D 5th edition. I love it. I think it's a fantastic rule set. I think it's wonderful for new players, especially. It's so streamlined. The learning curve is not steep at all. Okay? And as an old salty gamer, I hate it that critical roles did only apply to mainly apply to combat. because I like the idea of, you just get really lucky. And every other role playing game out there that I've seen has a mechanic like that. Um, so I add that back in with all checks. But I also let my players know that whenever they want to, they can run, we can run a game with the rules as written. And if you guys are long time watchers of the channel, you guys know, um, you guys know I came up with my own effect system, um, for different weapons types and different damage types for D&D 5th edition. My God, did it make combat dangerous, you know? And I liked it a lot. However, it wasn't very new player friendly. And when I look at the book for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, I'm going, you know what? This is really user friendly and this is good. Now, to add more complications and stuff to it, that's something that you can house rule in a lot later. And the thing that I added was not very new player friendly. Okay. It was more an intermediate thing. You know what I mean? So, um, to come down on this, if you find yourselves or someone in your gaming group reading a rule and saying, that doesn't make sense, that looks stupid, I don't like how they changed that, I think it would behoove everyone to urge them to give it a try. Or to confront them and ask, well, what is it that you want? Most of the time, it's people liking the way things used to be or having an idea for the way that they want to do things so that things add up to the way they are in their imagination. And the danger to that, the real danger to that, is every player has their own imagination. So yeah, that is some real stuff. And don't get me wrong, okay? One of the reasons that we talk about so many different games here, and this is something I learned with D&D a long time ago, guys, is a lot of games are designed for a specific purpose, okay? With Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, it is light role playing, heavy combat for new players, all right? And it's very hard to shoehorn other genres or other play styles on top of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. It's very, very difficult. All right? And this is coming from someone who prefers sci-fi over fantasy. But cyberpunk does not go easily fit into the rules for 5th edition. Heists, in the way that people think of them, do not fit very well within the confines of 5th edition. Oh, that's cute. My mentor is calling. Hang on just a sec, guys. I will be right back. Okay, guys, sorry about that. That was literally my podcasting mentor, returning my phone call from or returning my text from like 5 hours ago. Some of y'all know who they are. I don't like dropping names, but y'all know. Anyway, um, and yeah, and I wanted to talk to him about my next segment on the show. And he's like, yes, 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 do it. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll do it. Which is, I get a feeling that a lot of y'all tuned in for what the next segment is going to be. So let's get to this, all right? Yeah, but before we go, let's see. There was a rule that my old DM added to say you can't fly and attack at the same time. So I made sure it was not just players that were affected, that it was everything, as it seemed more fair, and it bit him later. Of course it bit him later. Dice tell stories, and so do role players, all right? Of course it bit him later. That's part of the fun of RPGs, and like that's why we do these things. I know a lot of players are out there and they want to assure victory because they're so afraid of defeat. All right. We're going to talk about the outsourcing of sportsmanship later this week, but I want to get on to the last segment because the show is going to be running a little bit over today. All right. So let's talk about that thing that I know y'all tuned in for. All right. Because this is a big thing. Everybody's talking about it. And I did some research on it today. All right. And that was a very important thing for me to do, was some research. So strap in and let's talk about this thing in Alabama. Oh God. Oh, get your friends. Oh God. I don't like talking about stuff like this, guys. But I'm doing a few changes on the channel, and yeah, this whole Alabama thing. I put out a notice on the Discord. I put it in Deckers in the Book. I'm like, should we talk about it today? And a lot of folks are like, yeah, I want to talk about it. Word Big Bird. Some were like, oh, you got to break it down. And yeah, so with the Alabama Riverfront Brawl, there's a lot of stuff that's there. Okay, a whole lot of stuff that's there, and I'm gonna bring up. Oh, shh! I'm gonna bring up the video, but I'm not gonna play the sound because I don't want any strikes or anything like that. But yeah, this thing was absolutely out of hand, but it is indicative of a couple of things that affect us as Deckers. All right, and I really mean that. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna put on some of the video. All right, now this is from, let's see, this is from the news. This is from WSFA News. Okay, I believe that's in Alabama. But it has here a passenger a passenger on the Harlow riverboat was recording when a confrontation turned into a fight involving multiple people. I ain't gonna lie. That is a very, very, very factual headline. And I like that the headline was factual. But what we got here, okay? Let's get a big picture. Let's give you the too long. Unfortunately, yakety sax is not public domain, bro. I really, really would like it. But in a nutshell, guys, what happened with this thing was there was a family that owned a mini market. Here is their boat. Okay, here's their boat right there. And the guy that you see center frame right now is the security guy. All right. His job is to tell people, look, you can't park there, okay? He is a boat-based meter maid. And the guy that came in, he's like, as you can see, he's like, look, man, I need you to move your boat. This is a reserved spot for that big old boat with hundreds of people over there to park. And sure enough, the whole family starts to mob up and they're loking up on him, all right? So this is a long video. So, and here's the thing, y'all. All right. Here's the thing. There are a lot of people, okay, a lot of people out there. Um, a lot of people out there who want to do a couple of justifications and things like that. All right? A serious bit of justification. And here's the thing. There are none. Okay? See, what we got here is the security guard himself saying, I need you to move that boat. I work here. It is my job to make sure that people's stuff is open. And sure enough, um, um, they give him a bunch of crap and try and talk him out of it. Okay. Now, here's the thing. And I want y'all to prep yourself right now because we're going to talk about some public stuff. All right. And this is serious content warning for a lot of you guys out there. So some of y'all might want to bail. All right. Because I normally don't get political on this channel. I try and leave that down for our meetings on Tuesday nights down by the docks. But here's the deal. All right. And this is the part that really, really, really bugs me. All right. Whenever somebody that looks like me ends up getting killed, specifically by people with badges, I don't care if it's a security guard or a police officer. The number one thing people say everywhere is, why didn't they listen? Why didn't they comply? Why didn't they do as they were told? In this situation, the roles are absolutely reversed. The employee of the company said, you can't park here. All right. Now, I will tell you, in my personal life, outside of this channel, I have gone through 7 of the 9 layers of hell when it comes to confrontations I've gotten into. All right. And a lot of them come out in this video. As I said, all right, this is big. All right. As I said, yeah, the real question, the absolute question is, when authority speaks up, all right, when authority speaks up, I don't care if it's security or cops. Some people have entitlement that make them give attitudes, and some people listen, okay? But whenever somebody that looks like me ends up dead, folks bend over backwards to blame the victim, all right? Now, in this video, he is literally telling the people, look, you can't park here. He is literally just doing his job. All right. And what this dude does, what this dude does, again, this is 3 minutes into the video and the confrontation comes out. He's like, look, I need y'all to move, But what happens? These drunk, entitled, upper middle class people come in and they start a fight with him. I mean, this is insane. This is absolutely insane. And again, once he starts fighting, boom, he starts getting mobbed on. Okay. Now what we got a little bit is little Miss Woman in Blue is trying to pull her people off. But there's 5 or 6 people, and sure enough, a guy comes in, tries to break it up. A guy comes in, tries to break it up. Be like, look, man, he's just trying to do his job. Just knock it off. Yeah, he went in and kept doing the fight. Why? Because adrenaline was up. Okay, adrenaline was up. And sure enough, this woman gives him more crap, and it's, don't you touch my wife. Don't you do this. And here's the serious thing. All right. Here's the serious thing. A couple of things happened. All right. A couple of things happened where afterwards a group of black folks went over to said boat and was like, yeah, when it was 5-on-1, when it was 5-on-1, Y'all were being all big. Y'all were being all big when it was 5-on-1. Now all five of us are here. So what you gonna do? Now there are a few things, a few culturally contextual things that we got to put out there. All right, a few culturally contested or context based rules that I got to put out there, yo. All right. Context one. This was in Alabama. All right. There is a long history, okay, a long history of racial tensions in Alabama. All right. And part of this, and this is really important. All right. And I really mean that. The really important thing. Hang on. Boop. I'm looking for footage of the thing that wasn't just that isn't on someone else's YouTube channel with commentary. All right. But this is a big thing, man, because I've looked up some tweets, I've looked up some articles, and that family is a family that owns a convenience store that literally says, I don't need your people's money. I prefer the superior white dollar. Okay? That is a public statement from the man on his Twitter. And I'm telling you guys this because I talk a lot about discrimination for everyone. I'm talking anti-blackness. I'm talking racism. I'm talking homophobia, transphobia, misogyny. All right? When the people who engage in these things are amongst themselves, they speak freely. But when they are in mixed company, dog whistles, vague language, allusions to what they mean are huge. And here's the thing. Someone that would publicly tweet, I don't want your people's money. I prefer the superior white dollar. He publicly tweets that, and then he and his family look at the security guard and says, screw you, I'll do what I want, and they escalate the situation to violence. Okay? This is what it looks like, y'all. This is really what it looks like. The bad actors out there, okay? And this is, I'm talking the bad actors. I'm not saying everybody with a complexion lighter than me is a racist or anything like that. What I'm saying is there are bad actors out there that do things with very little or no, okay, absolutely no good faith, okay? And then at the end of it, do I have that tweet? I'll find it. They do all these things in bad faith, and then they play the victim when the people that they victimize fight back. Okay, I was on the receiving end of this kind of behavior for 20 something years, and it literally drove me mad, guys. Let's see, Alabama riverboat guy tweet, because he might have taken it down is the thing. After the arrests were made, they scrubbed a bunch. So yeah, they scrubbed a lot of the stuff. All right, but one of the reasons that I'm always when I go out the house is because I've seen lots of people push and push and push and push and push the socially disadvantaged. I don't care what it is: race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, neurodivergency. Even poor folks get pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed in subtle ways or not subtle ways when no one's looking, and then when those people get tired of holding it in and tired of taking those punches, they yell back or they hit back. And then they're the ones that get in trouble. Um, Now, unfortunately, Nephis, they scrubbed it. Oh, Black Aquaman memes, all that stuff. Um, so yeah, has the man. Everybody's asking about the man who used the folding chair, but the fight escalated hugely. I mean, you could literally, if I wouldn't get hit for copyrights, I would either put Yakety Sax or Ballroom Blitz on this whole thing, because yeah, these people just they started this whole thing. And like I said, I saw the tweet, but let's say it's scrubbed, all right, and people can't find it. The fact that a group of 5 white dudes in Alabama started a fight and jumped the security guard while he was telling them, dude, y'all can't park here. Okay? That's unacceptable behavior. And whatever came after, and a lot came after, do not get me wrong. Oh my God, did so much come after. But just that particular incident, all right, was enough to generate assault charges. All right, because he didn't throw the first punch. You know, those people were way out of line. That family that parked their boat in a reserved docking spot gave him crap for doing his job. All right, and I want people all out there, do not play that BS of mental gymnastics, asking or trying to come up with ways that the security guard could have not been hit. All right? Because the people that were there were in the wrong. All right? They were breaking the rules of the place that they were at. They beat him up. All right? And you can tell by the footage that the dude was not a young man. So a whole family beats up an old security guard because they don't want to move their boat to allow one of the things, another boat that reserved the spot via the right type of stuff. The boat that was there was like, dude, I reserved this spot. We paid for this spot. We got to let these 200 people off the boat. You know, and there's nowhere for us to sit because these guys are doing this. Now, when I said there's other stuff involved, again, this particular town in Alabama has a long history of racial tension. And I told you I don't like getting political, but we were gonna. This was the day after a Trump rally in that very town. Okay? This is real talk. All right? The guy who gave a speech that incited people to march on the Capitol gave a speech the day before there, and then we've got a bunch of angry people of European descent beating up on a black dude whose job it was to tell them that they can't do what they were doing. Okay? This is messed up. This is seriously messed up. And this is not a channel where we talk about these issues and stuff like that. But, I have to say something about this, you know, because a big thing happened with this particular incident, which was something that a lot of us have wanted to see for a long time. And that is other black folks who knew him or didn't know him, straight up came to his defense. All right. And this is really big, Deckers. This is seriously big because I am always mad at people in the world that will stand up to me but not for me. All right? And oh, the woman involved was a school teacher. That makes sense. Um but here's the big thing. I'm not going to get into the racial tension. I'm not going to get into the historic background of the place that happened. What I will say, what I will say is is the fact that there was a rally from the former president at that spot or in that city the day before. That was huge. All right. But I also want to point out something big. And a lot of people will be like, well, no, it just took them that time to get there, blah, 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 blah. All right. So let's get back to the video. I found another thing. This is compliments of Louis Spot on YouTube. All right. Again, I'm blocking out their commentary and stuff like this. So let's get back. So after the fight, yeah, these dudes walk up to their boat and they're like, yeah, you wasn't doing nothing like that until this. And then boom, that was when the brawl came out. And again, I get it. I get that, it's a riverboat. People go out, they get drunk, stuff gets started. I get that. But I'm sure if you notice right here, okay, right there, that is a police officer, okay, and another police officer. Now, let's see. Now, right now, we got a bunch of black dudes beating up on a white guy. And we got the police officer saying a couple of things, but he's not drawing his weapon. And this is good. Okay, the police officer isn't drawing his weapon. All right, he's doing verbal stuff. But again, yeah, you got a girl coming in there doing some stuff. You go, girl. And yeah, but the thing is, a white family beat up on a guy and the community came to his rescue, and that was when the cops got involved. As soon as backup gets there, the community comes in. And yeah, so a lot of people in this have been arrested. And again, there's another one. And another fight breaks out with another guy saying some stuff. We got some eye gouging. We got some strangling, And as Riley said, everybody's trying to get their licks in. Tensions are high. We're all angry. We're all, and in the words of Riley, and I gotta say this. I gotta say this for real. Soon as stuff starts going crazy, somebody's got to pull out a chair. All right, somebody's got to pull out a chair as soon as people start wilding. There's always a dude that's got to go throw a chair, And yeah, this is now again. What do we have? We've got two police officers trying to get one guy down. I can't tell what ethnicity this guy is, but that's three cops now trying to get this guy down. Let's double check where his knee is. It's sad that in the 21st century, I got to say that. Yeah, this was a black guy. The person holding the camera isn't doing a lot, but the news did report that the family was also arrested. So a lot of charges come down. Oh, thank you so much, Zan. You are awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Xanathades, our boy coming at us from the land of beer and cheese. Coming in clutch. Where is... Yeah. Posted it on Discord. Just got to find the Discord window over here. Find the Discord window. Beer, cheese, and receipts. Real talk. Yeah, bring me them receipts, and thank you for being that guy that's like, yeah, what's up? So yeah, I'm pulling up the Discord right now. I didn't realize I'd closed it. All right. Thank you, Zan. Boo. Oh no, I want to see the whole bit of this. Thank you. Yeah, the owner of Vassar's Mini Mart. So yeah, it's Vassar's Mini Mart. I don't need you people's money. I prefer the superior white dollars. You heal up. That butt whooping that you'll heal from that butt woman eventually. That's nothing. I've been attacked by gorillas before. Okay? Um so just think about that. All right? Think we've all had run-ins with saltines like yourself. I think you saw who was superior in that video. So, real talk, guys. You people, superior white dollars, calling people gorillas. All right. So that is after after the brawl and all that stuff. So seriously, okay, seriously, looking at that tweet and then looking at the video in context, you see that the aggression that was put toward that security guard wasn't just a drunk guy not liking being told what to do. You know? Oh, thanks, Nefus. Yeah, y'all are on it with those receipts. I really appreciate that. Um, Hang on. Yeah, I'm gonna forward that too. So, seriously speaking, guys, this is the ugly stuff that is out there, and this is what a lot of your friends that come from the disenfranchised sector complain about. Okay? Um, the security guard was literally doing what he was paid to do. Hey, I need y'all to move your boat. Someone has reserved this spot. And that is the reaction that we get. Now, why is this important? Well, why is it important to be brought up on this channel? So here's the thing, y'all. All right? Um, a lot of folks, especially those who want to play games with a lot of different people, don't quite understand why some of the people that you want to play games with or hang out with act the way they do. Okay? I will tell you, a lot of my friends that don't come from my neighborhood really don't understand, one, why I have so many reservations about certain places, certain games, certain people. And when I talk about the stuff, and when I say there might be a racial element to it, the conversations then come around of, well, I don't see it. And I'm like, that's because you don't speak the visual language. The amount of aggression, the selective enforcement of certain rules, okay? That kind of thing. All right? That's a big thing. And I will tell you, there is a cultural trauma that is with that. Because that level of aggression and resistance to people that look like me, or your trans friends, or your gay friends, or even your friends that are on the spectrum, anything that doesn't have that proximity to whiteness, when we get that kind of resistance, the primary place that our friends and allies tend to go is straight to how we could have performed differently. The presumption of innocence never comes to us. It's always given to the people that give us attitude or start visiting violence. And when we get tired and we yell back or we throw a punch to defend ourselves, we're told that violence is never the answer. Yelling is never the answer. Protesting is never the answer. You can stand up for yourself, but not like that. You can't kneel at a football game. It is exercising your rights, but not like that. You know, you can defend yourself, but not like that. And when we put our hands up in the air and let them turn the dogs on us, or dogpile us socially, or resist us doing our job, even getting us fired by making a scene, and then our bosses again side with them and we lose our job, when we take those hits and try and exercise our rights, what we get told is how we could have performed better as a reason to not let us exercise those things. And again, this is why I started the channel, y'all. All right? I got tired, and I mean exhausted, from too many bad actors closing doors to people that wanted to play games or people that wanted to have a good time. You know? Honestly, as far as their liquor store goes, quite honestly, I'm going to tell you, Gaming Fix, the real truth of this is a lot of people are going to applaud them for what they did. There is a defense fund for the swimmer who swam to go help the security guard. You know, every person involved pretty much has a defense fund out to pay for a lawyer to fight the charges that are coming. And in truth, it kind of upsets me, but it doesn't surprise me. Okay? But yeah, this is a real thing, and I'm trying my best not to yell, scream, and cuss and all that other stuff. But it's not cool. It really, really is not cool. All right? This guy was doing his job respectfully and verbally, and somebody else escalated. Now, I will tell you, y'all will have lots of people around you looking for reasons that the security guy did his job poorly. And to them, I'm challenging you to ask. Yeah, he raised his voice. Yeah, he started, yeah, the swimmer was only 16 and he was a swimmer, so major shouts. But really, when these people are like, well, he didn't have to yell back, he could have acted more professional. Guys, challenge that when it comes to the police officers that feared for their lives. You know, because again, the mental gymnastics comes in where the security guy that looks like me is being held to a standard much higher than the people that have guns, radios, billy clubs, handcuffs, pepper spray, and a radio with the capability of calling cars full of other people with the same stuff, and they get away with shooting people dead. But this security guy with no weapons had 5 people come down on him. So when a whole family, and one of them literally took a running knee, like he was Sagat in Street Fighter or something, you know, to take this guy down. So when it comes to that, it's up to us, Deckers, to challenge the people in our lives with, if that's one thing, if that's the standard that you're holding for this dude, then why aren't you holding that standard for these other dudes? What's the inconsistency? And that's one of the ways that you can know who you're around. All right. I practically quit my last gaming group because I had lots of people tell me, oh, it's not because you're black, it's because you're tall, or because you're smart, or because you're this, or because you're that. And I'm like, all of these people in this group are not just in the same boat as I am with those subjects, but some of them are smarter than me. Some are taller than me. Some are more violent than me. And yet they don't get this kind of treatment. What is your answer to that? And when I couldn't get one, I quit the group. You know, not that there's malice in these people's hearts, but there is difficulty in the behavior and a lot of difficulty in the thinking that the United States has given to the people that are in it. Like I said, I don't mess around with people who are racist at heart. I really don't. Okay? But the culture of America is very, very, very hierarchical in ways that people will not see unless it's pointed out by others. Okay? Now, that's not my whole praxis. All right? I like playing games and paint miniatures and doing that stuff. But, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. These are things that we do come across. All right? Fact is, if you're on this channel, if you are watching this right now, chances are you're intersectional in some way. And so I want you guys to know that I do see you and that I understand the struggle that you're going through. Because your struggle is very similar to my struggle, which is very similar to the struggles of a lot of other people. And I'm not playing the Pain Olympics. I want all of us to be seen. Because not only do we go through our struggles, but we also participate in making other people's experiences a bit of a struggle. You know, I'm coming to terms with a lot of the internalized misogyny I was raised with, and that's a journey, you know. But the fact is, it's in there because I grew up a man in America. All right, it's true. Okay, and I came from a very homophobic region, you know, which is all weird because every single choir director I've ever met is LGBTQ, and they don't seem to have a problem. So, yeah. Yes, that is a joke. Yeah. So yeah, that's the facts, guys. This thing in Alabama was dumb. It was started by dumb people, and I am not gonna come down at all against the other people that came to the aid of that security guard and performed actions that escalated to something bigger. I'm not, because I am tired, and I mean exhausted, with the people who stand up to bullies getting punished for standing up. I am tired. Okay, I think it was like 15 years ago, a woman was being abused by her husband, and she left the house via the backyard, got the shotgun from the back shed, and shot the gun straight up through the ceiling, and she got 15 years. You know, and what did he get? Nothing. You know, and I'm sorry, this whole thing, I don't know, Gaming Fix. I really don't know. I really don't know if they had to move their boat after. That is a good question, and that leads for a fantastic punchline if I ever make a sketch out of this. But yeah, she was being terrorized and harmed and all that stuff, and then the moment she defended herself, she got 15 years in prison. So for the people that mobbed up and went to those dudes on the boat that at the time was still in the spot that it wasn't supposed to be in, I'm not mad at them at all. At all. You know, because this whole violence isn't the answer and you shouldn't escalate the whole situation. I am tired, okay? Tired of people, especially in the United States, coming down harder on the people who are defending themselves from bullies than they do come down on the bullies, if at all. Okay, I'm sick of it. I am so sick of it. I hope these people who started this thing with the security guard and jumped him and did the flying knee and all that stuff, I hope they go to jail. Okay, I seriously do. I hope they go to Alabama State Prison, and they got to stay there for a minimum of 5 years because they committed violence. They committed assault. I don't know if it's aggravated assault because I'm not a lawyer. Okay, but I know what they did by the letter of the law was illegal. They threw the first punch and first knee and first grab. All right. And if you're going to arrest everybody and punish everybody for fighting, okay. But they need the worst consequences. All right? They're just as bad as the people they're fighting against. No, they damn well aren't. Thank you. Thank you, Zan. You know, again, I am sick and tired of us coming down on the kid that took the gun to school. Okay? I really am. I'm tired of it. You know, oh my God, he took a gun to school. Blah, 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 blah. You know what? What drives people to that, and why aren't we looking at it? You know, I started this channel to address a lot of that stuff, to let people know that they are not alone. That there's people out here that actually give a damn. And that do their best to see them and to say, you know what? I'm just like you. Let's kick it. All right? We've chewed some of the same dirt. Let us kick it. All right? Because maybe if there's more people like that in the world, then the kid wouldn't take the gun to school. You know? But I'm sick and tired of people coming down on the kid that hits the bully in the head with a baseball bat because he hit the kid with a baseball bat. You know what? No. What'd he do? What'd he do? How long has he been terrorizing this kid? How long have they been throwing the kid in the locker? How many N-bombs did that guy drop? How many F-bombs did that guy drop? And I'm not talking about the one that rhymes with duck. Y'all know the ones I'm talking about. All right? This gets me so hot under my turtleneck. Because, yeah, I hear it all the time from people that don't go through that, you know? And I despise bullying. All right? I seriously do. It comes down to this. If you start a fight, you get whatever's coming to you. And if you are a person with power that's lording power over, like this store owner and his family lording his superior white dollar over this security guard that was just doing his job, you know what? That's the stupid game. Here's your prize. You know, because, yeah, I am tired of people being forced to be victims and to just swallow it. I'm tired of the society that we built that states when the little guy stands up, stomp him down. Okay? Screw that. Screw that. All right? I'm done. Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, worst part about school is as long as all you do is tell the teacher or principal, nothing changes. But the moment you fight back, it's an issue. Exactly. You know, and I'm telling you, I grew up in the hood. The moment you told a teacher, you were getting jumped harder. You know, and I grew up in a place where once you were labeled the underdog, if you won the fight, they're coming back with friends every day until they win. And when people looked at me and said, you know, well, there's other ways to get stuff through violence, I was like, how? And my mom was like, don't you come down on my boy. He's been talking about these bullies for months and y'all ain't done nothing. You know? So yeah, these people, you know, I mean, seriously speaking, yeah, like I said, I'm hot about this, but 1, 2, 3, 5-on-1. All right. That should be a felony. All right. That should be assault with malicious intent at all. Okay. So yeah, they jumped a dude 5-on-1. And then what happened after they did what they did, 5 other dudes came up going, what are you doing trying to beat down a dude 5-on-1? Let's do this. You know what? And yeah, I'm like, you know what? Nope, the cavalry, they get a freebie. Yeah, the family is like an organized criminal act. Not very organized, but definitely a united. You know, because when the bullies pull a united front, as long as we keep coming down on people that stand up to bullies, then the bullies have no reason not to bully. You know, this is why I refer to all of us as deckers. Okay? It's our job to have the back of the people in our circles who are being dogpiled on. You know, now I'm not from that hashtag believe the victim thing, but what I will say is when somebody talks about how they're being victimized, don't write it off. Listen. If for no other reason, to provide a decent space. you know? Because seriously, and in all other ways speaking, all right, all other ways speaking, when somebody is the victim of something and people write it off, that's what makes people go to towers with guns most of the time. You know, I have seen it happen 100 times. No, Nephus, it is not because your job as a decker is to deck the bully. You know, no. But I like the pun. But no, we don't incite violence. But we do socially stand up for the person that's being dogpiled on, because that's not cool. You know, so when you're at your gaming session and somebody is treating another player with a higher, I guess you could say, holding them to a higher standard than they hold everybody else there, no, speak up. You know, give that person a good old dressing down. And if they want to escalate it to violence, they can escalate it to violence. But the fact is, there's a lot of people out there that say things like, that's not okay, you know. But most of the people that say stuff like that have no way of providing consequences for not okay behavior. You know, the fact that these guys started a big old fight, they jumped a dude, that's not okay. And you know what? The community came together to let them know with words and the fists that pushed the lesson in that that was not okay, nor will it be tolerated. And more people that abuse their social standing need that lesson, you know. But please, for the love of God, don't go out there picking fights. Do not go out there picking fights, please. The last thing I need is that kind of stuff coming down on me. Although I could use the media bump. But no, seriously. So, but yeah. So seriously, guys, this whole thing in Alabama, you know, no, that's all up to you. You can try to Google image neon. I don't care. And if you guys do find that they have Confederate flags or former president flags and stuff outside of their store, don't post them on the Discord. All right. This is as serious and current events as I've gotten on the channel for a very long time, and I don't want to repeat this. Okay. But I had to talk about it because this is a prime example of why we're here. All right. Seriously, Deckers. This is why we're here. This is why I started the company. This is why I started the live streaming, and why I'm here as close to 5 days a week as I can get. You know, because that security guy had a community, and we should have one too. All right. So yeah, yeah, exactly, M10. You know, so yeah, let's see. One time I got suspended from school for fighting when all I was doing was blocking the dude's punches, and then my dad was like, "What did you want him to do? Stand there and get punched?" Yeah, you know. And the fact is, and this is what I'll close this off with. A lot of the times, these policies and these intentions, they're band-aids, okay? Serious band-aids. The teachers at school don't want you getting beaten up, but I talked to one of my counselors about that after I'd gotten the crap kicked out of me by like 8 dudes, okay? And I'm like, I just got the crap kicked out of me by 8 dudes. Why am I being suspended? And he's like, it's our policy to suspend every party that was involved in the fight, because we don't know who started it. We don't know how it escalated. And I'm like, I see that rule on a 1-on-1, but this was an 8-on-1. Why am I being punished after having the crap kicked out of me? And I literally mean punished, because when you're suspended, you are not allowed to make up for the schoolwork that happened while you were gone. All right. So that has an effect. Like if you're suspended and there's a test and you miss that test, you may as well have failed it, because you're not going to make it up, you know. And my counselor was like, we take these things on a case by case basis. But like since we don't know who started it and everybody's saying it's not their fault because people lie, they get everybody out there. That's a band-aid, all right? That is seriously, seriously a band-aid. And, yeah, thank you, Xanathades. And zero tolerance policies at schools are there to protect the schools from lawsuits, not there to protect the children from harm, you know? So that's a big one. No. Again, I grew up in the LAUSD. That means Los Angeles Unified School District, but it also meant the Lost, LAUSD, Lost. But yeah, no makeup work or anything when you're suspended. It was a punishment, not a couple of days off. So that was real. But again, I also grew up in the low-funded parts of the LAUSD, so that might have been a different place. So yeah, that's a really big thing. But with all that, I want to say thank you guys for being here for our extra long show. I got to get out of here because I got some chores to do, but this has been fun. This has been truly, truly fun. If you guys want to get a hold and talk a little more about these things, well, it's very simple. All you got to do is just open up your email and type in backinthedeck@gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK@gmail.com. You can also reach out to me on Twitter and Instagram @backinthedeck, on TikTok @bidp, and if you're part of that wretched hive of scum and villainy known as Facebook, feel free to join the Deckers on the book. All right, guys? Now, as much as I love having conversations about all this stuff, I want to keep the conversation civil. I don't want anybody doxxed. I don't want anybody harassed. All right? If y'all want to talk about this stuff, I want you guys to limit the conversations to how these types of things affect your life, because I don't want to give this store owner any more attention. I really don't. This Vassar's Mini Mart, screw this guy. And I still hope that he gets everything in life that is required to make him happy. Not everything that he wants, but everything that he needs. And if it's another butt whooping, okay. But yeah, that is, and from the best parts of me, I hope he gets everything he needs to be joyful and at peace. All right. But the fact of the matter is, I don't want you guys to participate in online harassment, and I especially don't want you doing it in the name of Back in the Deck. So with all that, I gotta say thank you guys, and if anybody tells you that y'all can't like what you like because of the circumstances of your birth, be it race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, neurodivergency, or neurospice, as I like to say, or your budget, because we all know that the trailer park is never farther than walking distance from the hood, you can tell any of those people to take those cards and put them back in the deck. I'm Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, saying thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you next